Shalom, family. Good to see you all. Hope you're doing well. Well, you know, this boycott is going on of Asian stores. And I find it real interesting the things they're saying. Some of them are just literally crashing out, y'all. In fact, my next live, I'm going to show you some more video of our people, talking about not going to their shops and how we should have stopped shopping with them years ago because we buy from them and they never patronize black businesses at all. But white people do that too. They don't patronize our businesses. See, that's an unwritten rule, and we need to develop unwritten rules. Even if we got to shop, let's say, in a white store, what I have done over the years, and I ended up saving because of it. I will give myself a budget. They don't get nowhere near the amount of money they used to get from me years ago. Now I set a budget. Whatever I got, they only get 15 to 25% of whatever's in my wallet. And ever since I started doing that, I have been saving a lot. I'll get what I need and nothing more. I don't go in there, oh, I want that too. Nope. If I got my mind set up, I get exactly what I need and I get my butt out of the store. And just doing that, I don't spend nowhere near as much. Before I was, oh, I got to have that. I got to have that. And I would go in there and sometimes I would spend almost every dime in my wallet. I don't do that no more. Now they only get a certain portion and that's it. And when I start doing that, I can't even tell you how much over the years I have been able to save from doing that. It's been a great experience doing it that way. And I think we should all learn how to have just a set amount that we give to Gentiles, and that's it. They don't get a dime more. So we're going to listen to people that have been going around within, the towns they live in or the surrounding towns to see what's going on at the Asian shops. And sure enough, a lot of them are empty. And there was one woman that went to a location in Los Angeles after the boycott started. They're already going out of business because they have lost a lot of money. This Asian shop lost a lot of money since the boycott began. And they got a going out of business sale going on. I was like, oh, wow. You mean to tell me they fell that much? But see, what you got to realize, y'all, their whole livelihood is off of our backs. That's why their stores are in our community. Everything, those fancy cars they're driving and the colleges they get to send their kids, that's off of our backs. All right. So no matter how much they talk online, they need us. Don't fall for the okey doke that we need them. See, what they're confusing is manufacturing is different from owning. All right. All they do is manufacture because they are cheap. They're cheap labor. That's why so many of these big corporations go to China because they're cheap labor. All right. But at the end of the day, these big corporations pay more attention to the consumer, and that's me and you. That's what they focus more on. They don't focus on these factory workers, they focus on the consumer. So, yeah, you may make the goods, but you don't own the corporations. All right. Those corporations pretty much own y'all. You are cheap slave labor. That's all you are. So that's what they confuse. They think because they make it, it's some big deal. And actually, it really isn't. You're the labor force. It's just like many of our brothers and sisters behind bars make a lot of products. But when you walk in the store, you don't think about them. You're really the focus. You're the consumer. So, and that's how Asians are looked at. You're just factory workers. You're not really what they care the most. It's their bottom line, the consumer. So let's get into this, y'all, because it was really interesting what I came across. Let's see here. And boy, but I never seen so many Asians crashing out online. Woo, they are losing it. And see, that just goes to show you, because many of them are trying to pretend like we're not important. They don't care. Yes, they do, y'all. Nobody would make a video and you don't care. I don't care what y'all saying on them videos. You do care. You took the time out of your life to make that video. And you're trying to pretend like after decades and decades of being in our neighborhoods, we don't matter. You don't care. Yes, you do. Yes, you do. If you didn't care, you wouldn't have made the video. You just would have went on with your life. But you took the time to make the video. Your ass care. You care plenty. Trust me on that. All right, y'all. Thank you for the ones. I see them.
Imagine hating the word so much, but yet you still use it on your own folks. And another thing, if you want to cancel all these business, by all means, go ahead and try to cancel, boycott the hair, walk around with your bald ass head, don't eat the Chinese food, don't do any of that, okay? Because let me tell you, there is not enough black owned business for y'all trying to cancel everybody, boycott this, and let's not do this. There, you wouldn't survive. You would not survive in that community without all these other business. And then you're going to go, no.
Y'all see, that's where they're wrong. They can't survive without us. They need the black dollar in order to survive. She's full of shit. Let me just tell you this. When I was growing up as a child and all through my teens, I never had Chinese food. I never had Chinese food. When we lived in the city of Philadelphia, whenever my dad would take us out to a restaurant, we always went to a soul food restaurant around the city back when I was a kid. When we moved to New Jersey, we would go more to diners. The few times we would go out to eat, we would go to diners. We never walked into a Chinese restaurant and sat down and had a family dinner. Never. When I had Chinese food for the first time in my life, I was already an adult. That's when I had it. So don't tell me we can't live without their food. I'm living proof of it. I lived all that time with no Chinese food. My mother would either cook and I ate at home, or every now and then my father would take us out to dinner, and trust me, it was never at a Chinese restaurant. And when I was young, y'all, there were only a few Chinese restaurants around, and you had to get in a car and drive to them. They were not in walking distance. You had to get in a car and drive around to where their shops were. They weren't close by back in the day when I was growing up. And even around where I live, you need a car to get over to their restaurant if you plan on picking up. So this we can't, because I saw one of them on there talking about we can't live without their takeout. Trust me, I can. Trust me, I can live without it. I've already lived without it before. They don't cook nothing in them restaurants that I need. And besides, you can get your own wok and make that stuff at home and it'll come out better. In fact, The last time I made fried rice at home, I did it in a skillet and it came out great. So, no, we can make that stuff and make it even better at home. So, no, we don't need to walk in their restaurants. We don't need none of their hair products either. Oh, you need that for your bald head. Well, all of us don't have bald heads. Okay. Let's just clear that up. And number two, if I have not been, the last time I went, I was thinking real hard. The last time I went into an Asian beauty shop, my mother was still living, y'all. So that was like the early part of 2000 was the literally the last time I went into an Asian beauty shop. I have not been in one in over 20 years, and I'm not exaggerating. I have not been in an Asian beauty shop in over 20 years. So, no, you can live without everything they got up in that store. All right. So, no, you make some things because my hair products I make myself. You make some things over there. You don't make it all. Some of us know how to make our own hair products. We don't have to get anything from any of you. So, y'all support your small black business owners. You don't have to get nothing from them, not a thing. All right, let's go on.
One wants to invest in our neighborhood. Why do you think they don't want to invest in your neighborhood? Because you got your ratchety ass kids going around stealing everybody's shit all the time. Okay, go ahead, cancel all the business. I'm just saying what everybody's thinking, and you mad because you know I'm right. And then you go on national TV talking about how he was racially profiled and how everybody is racist. Well, had you fucking whoop your son's ass and made sure he wasn't walking around with a fucking pistol, he wouldn't be Mr. Child.
You know what I'm saying? And we whole family, y'all doing a good damn job. I mean, y'all doing a fantastic fucking job. These Asians are feeling it. Do you understand what I'm saying? When we delineated, you know what I'm saying, and we went after the cosplayers, they found out how serious we fucking are. When they say, "Oh, immigrants built the country," well, we can't see a immigrant political office. We can't see an immigrant grassroots organization that built the motherfucking thing. We can't see where the immigrant had built any goddamn thing. You know what I'm saying? Not even a pathway to citizenship. Right? The immigrant and the immigrant government didn't build a motherfucking thing over here. Right? You're at the mercy of people supporting your business to support your citizenship status. That is what we just exposed, right? You set up your goddamn business and you act like we need your businesses in our community. See, this is the way the trade was supposed to work. Imagine this, right? We don't need Asians, right, to own hair stores. We need Black Americans to own those hair stores and do business with people that live in Asia. See how that works? We are the owner. So if you come to this country and you have some familiarity with this type of business, then you work for a Black American. That's how it's supposed to work. If you are in a Black American community, you will work for a Black American. That's how that's supposed to work. We don't see, listen, before immigration, who do you think was selling hair, doing hair? Who do you think owned these stores? Right? We wanted to go to college. We wanted to get college education. We wanted to start careers. You understand? So we allowed the immigrant base a section, a carve out, so that they can eat as well in our communities. Right? But you're not doing so well at that. Right? You're setting up businesses in communities where you're scared of the people directly in the community, directly that you're doing business with. This means that you're not interested in putting a business in a community where you're going to be a part of the goddamn community. You're not a part of the community. You're a problem in the community. You're a parasite, a pariah in the community. You're not there to lift up the community. You're there to tear it down. You're there to tear it down. You feel me? Now, I know that we got some unsavory characters in our goddamn community, right? And we don't lack accountability when it comes to that and saying that and owning that, right? We have to do a better job as a people, right? But this is the reason why we're also disaggregating our data so that we can lay blame and the people that are responsible can take the right accountability, because we're not taking the accountability for everybody. Just because that business is in our community and you seeing somebody with melanated skin walk into your business, that doesn't mean that that's us, right? And we're not going to paint a broad stroke anymore. The Black American community is not taking accountability for all other communities. It's just not happening. You're going to take your own. So Asian community, you're going to take this one, right? We are boycotting your business. What you should have learned about the Black American community is when we're fucking fed up, we boycott. You didn't learn about the sanitation worker boycott. You didn't learn about the Montgomery bus boycott, where we boycotted for 385 fucking days and damn near bankrupt the city of Montgomery. You just don't know who you're with. You don't know who you're fucking with, right? So did you not pay attention to what happened to Walmart and Target when DEI was an issue? Did you not see what stores were having to do as a result of the Black Lives Matter protests? No legislation had to be passed. You understand what I'm saying? We just had to protest, right? And you guys know how strong our protest is, because when we protest, you join us. When you protest, we don't join you, right? We are the movers. We are the shakers. We are the innovators, right? We are the way makers, the architects, right? That's who we are. That's who our people are. Now, just because you just found out your group don't have that power, you have no power. You have no dominion. You have no authority. You can't hold anything. No carrot can be held over our head. You understand? We will just move your ass completely out the fucking way, and then we will own the stores. You dig what I'm saying? We don't need immigrants selling us a motherfucking thing. We can sell each other what we need to sell each other. You know what I'm saying? How hard would it be for one of my motherfucking people or a couple hundred of my people to start trades in goddamn Asia, right? And start competitions directly with you, where you get your shit from. Yeah. See, we can go over to Asia and say to the person that you getting your shit from, your plug, hey, give it to us at a low. We know how to do this. We know how to do this. This ain't nothing new. You know what I'm saying? Finding out who the plug is and getting lower prices from the plug. You know what I'm saying? Fuck the middleman. My people are very good at this. You understand what I'm saying? On all levels. Shit, we generalize that skill. And that ain't nothing to be embarrassed about. We are goddamn entrepreneurs. We are business people. You understand? We don't need you. We don't need you. So boycott is up and stuck. And for any of you motherfuckers that want to play with us, you know what I'm saying? We would make this shit so permanent that you would have no choice but to move your punk ass back home.
You know what I was thinking about? I was thinking about that Chinese man who was clapping back at Black people, because Black people were saying we're going to boycott based on that Chinese man killing that young Black boy. And in his tirade, in his video that he has since deleted, he started listing these things that Black people couldn't have if we boycotted Chinese people, right? Chinese businesses. He started listing these things that are made in China, because China makes all these products and the rest of the world consumes all these products. And I thought that was funny because, you know, if we take a step back, he was using China as a point of pride that China makes all these products, and they do. But you know what else? Now, I'm not talking about Chinese people who would have immigrated to this country in the last 5-10 years, maybe even the last 20 years. But the ones that have been here for a few generations, Chinese nationals, people in China, they got negative and derogatory terms for you too, don't they? They talk bad about American-born Chinese people. Have you lost your connection to your culture? You're Americanized. You are not the same. I've seen that in documentaries, in a couple of books. You can even see it in pop culture and movies and things like that, right? They got issues with y'all. And then I just know this year on TikTok alone, y'all been fighting. Y'all was fighting about who has the right to go into Chinese markets. and talk about the food. Y'all got a big old kerfuffle about that. Y'all start blocking each other and canceling each other. Big content creators. Remember that? And then more recently, you got into this whole Asian mix-up thing. That turned into a big old mess. Y'all same thing, blocking people, arguing, all these long TikToks about it and everything. So I'm just saying, you shouldn't be so concerned about us. Maybe you need to clean your own house, because just watching TikTok, y'all got colorism issues. Y'all got issues between South Koreans and Chinese and Japanese and Filipino and Vietnamese, right? The Singaporeans, people in Hong Kong, Taiwan. So
He's right. They are very divided. Yeah, the Asian, the Chinese don't like the Japanese. The Japanese, they don't like the Philippines. The Philippines, you know what I mean? They don't like each other. The Chinese and the Taiwanese, they don't like each other. The North Koreans don't like the South Koreans. They are very divided. You think we're divided? I think it's even worse among them. And besides, y'all, we don't need their stuff. What they gonna do? Give us a plate of rat fried rice? We don't need that shit. I don't need no food with mystery meat in it. So they can have that mess as far as I'm concerned. Let's go on.
maybe right now we shouldn't be your big issue. Maybe you should do some house cleaning on your own. But I do want to add one last piece of this. A couple of years ago, scientists in China were trying to prove a theory that they had, that they were not descended from Africans, the whole out of Africa theory of human evolution. And they went through great lengths. But once they got deep into that DNA, you know what they found? They were just like the rest of us, children of Africa. So just remember that. Just like us, you are children of the actual motherland, the continent of Africa, the birthplace of humanity.
Man, what? Like, this is crazy.
Oh yeah. I did it like, and I hadn't been there that long, but I came up here the other day and stood across the street and got some shots.
This is crazy.
Awesome.
Like, how
Yeah.
how bold could you be?
I know. You wouldn't think it. It's like I didn't even see it. I saw somebody else.
Okay, what she's talking about, and you may not be able to see it from the video, the name of the store is Hurry Up and Buy. Hurry Up and Buy. You know, I know people that used to go into the Asian stores and they would start screaming that the second you walk in the door, hurry up and buy. I said, you know what? That's one thing. The stores here in New Jersey back in the day, they didn't do that. They know where to do that mess and get away with it. They would never have gotten away with that over here. Because I notice out in the West Coast, California, they would be doing that mess. Hurry up and buy. I wish somebody would say that to me when I walk in the store. You wouldn't get 1 red cent from me. Not 1 dime. I don't care what I need in that store. I'll get it from somewhere else. But they didn't do that here. But I know in certain places, those Asians would be doing that mess. So, but that's the name of the shop they're at. It's called Hurry Up and Buy. It's an Asian store. That's what she was saying. I can't believe this. All right, let's go on.
You're standing up here looking at it. I was just walking down that sidewalk over there. I was like,
It's like premeditated, because it's like we just got the verdict from the siren, the siren department built in. There's no way you could have done that.
And that there, you guys, is the prime reason why we need to stand firm in what it is we're doing when it comes to these Asian businesses that are within our communities. This type of shit right here. They don't care. They don't care. They're only in an uproar right now is because they see They see that their shit is about to blow up. They see the money coming out of their community left and right. They can see it happening. They know that they are too dependent on the black dollar for their businesses to thrive, for their businesses to sustain. That's why they're so outraged with knowing that we are doing a ban of their businesses. Because it's not even a boycott. We're not even doing boycott no more. So let's take boycott out of our vocabulary right now. This is a ban. And a ban means we will be no longer engaging with any of their businesses that are within our communities. Any of them. This is the shit right here that tells us they could care less about anything that's going on in society surrounding their community. Because how do we have a business that feels okay to have such a image on the window of their establishment? On the window of their establishment. Like, this shit is bold as fuck. North Carolina, who owns this business? Who owns this business, North Carolina? We need to know who owns this business. Drop it in the comments if you know who is the owner of this business. We need to have a conversation. We need to understand what was your intention with this? Because I don't want to hear no shit about it's a joke. It's a play on a movie. What I think it's a play on Don't Be a Menace to Society, one of the parodies movies by the Wayans brothers. I believe that's where that comes from. Yeah, y'all don't get to play with us like that. None of y'all get to play with us like that. See, y'all gotten too comfortable. And we've allowed y'all to get too comfortable. We've allowed y'all to get too comfortable thinking that y'all can play with us because we put it in our music. We put certain things in our music. The imagery that we depict in movies, etc. Y'all think because y'all can consume it, that y'all can cosplay and act like you about that life. Yeah, y'all, even as a Black community, we need to be careful at the type of imagery that we're putting out here. Because then we encounter bullshit like this, and they're going to easily have a way out or a excuse. They're going to be excused. Their apology is going to be riddled with, I had a lapse in judgment. I've consumed this type of, I've supported the Black community. I've seen this movie. I've seen that movie. I've purchased the music. I paid to go to concerts. Because we let them in too freely. We let them into our spaces too freely. That this is the type of thanks that we get. A fucking slap in the face. This is wild. This is insane. If you're in North Carolina, Greensboro, North Carolina to be exact, who owns this business? Drop it in the comments if y'all are familiar with this business from the Greensboro, North Carolina area. And when did that signage go up? When did that imagery go up on that window? Because based off of that video, it's come up recently. And to know what is going on in their neighboring state, right above them in South Carolina, right below them in South Carolina, you knew exactly what you were doing when you put that shit on that window. Drop in the comments, y'all, and let's talk about it. Because we need to know who the owner is of this business and when that shit went up in that window. Let's talk about it.
What's up, y'all? So, y'all know we've been on this produce our own, find Black vendors, find Black manufacturers, right? So, guess what I have over by my daycare? Hold up. Okay, walk with me. Let's go. Booyah. a black nail tech. Listen, she is out here in Eastern Henrico off of Laburnum at 4879 Finlay. That's 4879 Finlay. And it's called The Nail Trap. So I'm going to make sure that I tag her information under this video. But come on, we got black nail techs. We got, and talking about salons, we got salons over here too, over on Finlay. Black salon stylist. So y'all make sure y'all hit her up. Again, I'm gonna find her handles and I'm gonna make sure it's under the video. So y'all tap in, okay, and book with this black nail tech. All right, bye y'all.
Yesterday, when I made the post regarding people should not be boycotting Asian business, I did not know what the situation was for until later. Come to find out, an Asian man was not guilty for shooting a black teenager kid, and that's why the black folks are mad and they're boycotting Asian business. I see where you're coming from, though. I feel your pain, and I'm so sorry for the tragic that you had to go through. But when I hear the fact that you are going to boycott Asian business, that caught me off guard. And let me tell you why. Is because when you say you are boycotting Asian business, that's a big statement. Like, Asian comes in different areas like Laos, Cambodia, Vietnamese, Japan, Korea, China, India. So when you say you're going to boycott the Asian businesses, that's all.
You know what? The problem is, yes, we know there are different Asians, and y'all come from different parts of Asia. We are fully aware of that. Here's the one common denominator about all of you. When you cross that ocean and come over here to America, you are all consistently rude to us. That's the part you leave out. You want us to be able to differentiate between one Asian to the next. But what you don't get is many of you set up shop in our community, whether you're from Vietnam, China, Korea, and you all are consistently rude to us. That's the problem. And that's the one common thing you all got together, and that has not gotten better over the years. And that's what you don't get. And y'all don't seem to fix these things at all. The rudeness is universal. You may be different Asians, but the rudeness that you give our community is consistent across the board.
All of them. But the fact that we didn't do anything to y'all, that's why I'm tripping about. That's it. Not that we're not feeling sorry for the situation. It's just, I know it was a Chinese man who shot the kid, but one man's crime cannot affect the whole community. You see what I'm saying? Like, that's why I was caught off guard, because I'm Asian. And when you say you're going to boycott Asian, that's like involve all of us. And some of us be like, what the hell did we do? We didn't do anything. We knew the situation, but we feel for the situation, but we didn't do anything. That's why I made that video. You see what I'm saying? Not trying to not have no empathy or sympathy about the situation. I feel bad, but it's kind of hard to boycott the Asian community because it's like, it's everywhere. You see what I'm saying? So with that being said, we need to stop this racism stuff, man. We need to love each other more. We need to really embrace each other's differences and just work it out. And at the end of the day, we need God. That's what we need.
If this is what we're doing, let's get the numbers right. So South Carolina has attracted over $669 million in capital investment from the Asian communities and companies, which is a key and major driver for the state's economy. So if we're boycotting this, so that money's not coming in, we're boycotting nail techs, food services, hair products, hair care, whatever. I need all my African American business owners to the front. We can replace those companies, those businesses, whatever. Drop your information in the comments so we can find you. You know, we will travel. We will come and get our hair done. We will get our nails done. Put your information out there. Don't sleep on this. $669 million. We're trying to get this money out of the Asian community and put it into the African American community. Let's do this.
Why are people upset that black people are boycotting Asian businesses? No shade, they putting these businesses in our neighborhood and we no longer want to shop at them no more because it's like every time we go in there, it's like racist, anti-black, they think we stealing, they walking behind us, but they're not doing that to other races of people who go into their shops. So we don't want to be in there because we don't want to be discriminated against. And people are upset. Y'all can go there then. Y'all go shop. We not saying nobody. We're just not doing it because it's not like no shade. The fuck? No.
3. Nobody in there. But the gag is, look how many nail shops I went to in less. It ain't even been 10 minutes. It's not even 10 minutes away. Look it. This is the last one. Ain't nobody there. Ain't nobody hanging out.
This is why when y'all say black people can't come together, I just shut my mouth because y'all are showing out on this Asian boycott. Saturday, June the 6th, empty. Nail salons, empty. Y'all are showing out. Now, if you recall, he's the one that told us that we couldn't survive without any Asian-owned, stores in our community, and told us if we did a boycott, he would take away the laundry mats, right? They would not have laundry mats for us as if we don't own washers and dryers in 2026.
Yes, exactly, y'all. I laughed when he said that. You won't have the laundry mats. The majority of us got washer and dryers. What planet does this guy live on? Even people in the hood got washers and dryers in their homes. Okay, I don't know where this dude come from. In fact, I can't think of a time in my life where we didn't have a washer and dryer in our house. And this dude talking about, what about the laundromat? You know, even our brothers and sisters that live in apartments, a lot of them, even in apartments, got washer and dryers, or the apartment complex got a place where you can go within the complex and wash your clothes. We don't need to go to no Chinese or Asian person's laundromat. What is this dude talking about? For real. That made me laugh when he said that. I was like, I don't know what planet, what makes him think we don't have washer and dryers? I don't get it. Wow.
Now, some of you actually seem to be surprised at the Asian community, some of them anyway, that are really thinking that we're ignorant and too ignorant to have our own. Guys, don't forget about 2023. Do y'all remember in 2023 when they ended affirmative action? And that was in part to the Asian community. They let themselves be pushed to end affirmative action against the blacks. And people always say against the blacks as if we're the only community and we're the number one community to benefit from affirmative action. We weren't, but that's a discussion for another day. So in case you didn't know, the Asian American Coalition for Education, along with 60 other Asian American groups, got together and filed several civil rights law complaints against Harvard, okay? And they supported students for fair admissions. Now, if students for fair admissions sound familiar, that's because they are the ones who filed these lawsuits that went to the Supreme Court. President and fellows of Harvard College and also against University of North Carolina, they combined the two. They said that they felt it was so unjust. They were expected to perform higher to get into Ivy League colleges. And that's not the case for everyone, i.e. Black people. They decided to do it in groups so that no one could pick out a specific Asian American to target. But the fact that there were 60 different groups along with the Asian American Coalition for Education speaks volumes. Now, once affirmative action ended, do you think there was a big surge of acceptance into Ivy League colleges for Asian Americans? No, poochie pies. According to the Manhattan Institute, there was a 2% increase across the board of Asian Americans being accepted into Ivy League schools. However, there was a decline in Blacks and Hispanic enrollment. Like other communities, Asian communities seem to forget that they benefit from all the hard work that the Black community has done. And that's okay if you forget. We don't have to remind you because, baby, we just keep doing what we do, which is us. So I'm proud of all you guys standing in solidarity because they're basically calling us stupid as hell, and we're not. Leave me a comment. Bye, y'all. Bye.
Okay. Yeah. See, when it came down to affirmative action and they were blaming us for being the reason why they weren't getting in, which was false. You know, the reason why Asians were not getting in the numbers that you wanted to see is because of the legacy emissions. All right. White people that had a mother or grandmother or grandfather that went to a certain college and they got in based on, a legacy admission. Now, I don't know about any of you. Have you ever talked to some of these people that get in there for legacy admissions? They're dumber than a bag of rocks. You know why they are? Because they didn't have to try hard to get in there. How you doing, Tareen? They didn't have to try hard to get into the college. And trust me, I have worked with some of these legacy admission people. I have been around them. I've been around some of them even when I was going to college, y'all. They are dumber. And when I'm not exaggerating, that's because they never had to apply themselves ever in life. And they heavily rely on racism to get over every hurdle in life. And when I tell you these mofos are dumb, they are dumb. They are dumb. When I was a senior manager over my IT department, there were some that applied from Yale and Harvard for open positions that I would have. And y'all, they would have typos, all kinds of typos on their resume. And they just got out of Yale or Harvard. And they were legacy admissions. These folks are dumb. They are dumb. And I'm not exaggerating. They are dumb. So that was your problem. All of you Asians that were that your legacy admissions, that was the reason why you weren't getting in there, because Billy Bob had a parent that was in that college. So they just slid right on in there. That was your problem. It was never us. You attacked the wrong thing. And ever since that happened, I noticed y'all be online being all regretful. You're a day late and a buck short. You can't bring it back now. So I don't know why you're wasting your time putting those videos up crying because y'all can't get in now. You should have seen the writing on the wall. You got used and discarded. You should have seen it coming. I don't know why you didn't. And it just tells me the fact that you blamed us, the Black community, for why you didn't get in there. It tells me how out of touch y'all really truly are. And all the time you've been in this country, you have not been able to figure out how white supremacy works. Really? And you're supposed to be model minority and you can't figure that out? Okay, whatever. So, y'all, I'm going to go ahead. And yes, I'm going to be talking about the Natasha doll, that stress doll out in Asia. And y'all, I'm going to tell you the origins of that doll. And it's something that's pretty horrific that's going on over in Africa. The reason why that Natasha doll is a thing is because Asians have been going into Africa, and some of them are just influencers on social media. And what they do, and it's sick, they go into Africa and they get a hold of the babies and toddlers, and they abuse the children and film the whole thing and upload it for clicks and views. And these videos are all over social media, y'all, of Asians going into Africa and abusing the babies and then uploading the videos on social media. And I fault you Africans for this. You spend way too much time online talking about FBA, FBA, and you don't even address what these Asians are doing to your babies over in your country. And one thing I notice, there are no adults around. Where the hell are the adults? Where are the adults over in Africa? Where are you? How you going to let these Asians come in your country and abuse and take pleasure in uploading these abusive videos all over social media? And it's never no adult, male or female African around when they're doing this. None. But y'all got the nerve to be online all day long talking about some FBA, FBA. Are you out of your damn mind? You know, and they've been, y'all, this has been going on probably for the last couple of decades since the Chinese have really been over there. They've been doing this stuff, abusing the baby, filming the whole thing and uploading it for clicks and views. And apparently the Asians get off on watching this stuff. And it's sick. And you don't hear about no Africans addressing that situation, but you want to spend your whole day online talking about some FBA, FBA. The hell out of here. So we will talk about that, but that's where the Natasha doll comes from. Because you know damn well they ain't doing that to our kids. We would have damn sure addressed that mess. They would never have gotten away for even a day doing that to our children. See, they know where to do this stuff and get away with it. It's much easier to get away with it over in Africa because those folks are docile and they won't do nothing to these Asians. Even when Africans live, I watch videos of Africans living over in China, and them Chinese people be racist to them, and they act all meek and passive about the whole thing. And we all seen the videos of them show up 1 minute late for work, and some Asian man grabs a stick and beat the hell out of them. So we will talk about, that's where the Natasha doll comes from, y'all. From those videos that these Chinese people, and then they said some of them take flights over to Africa just to abuse the children and videotape the whole thing. So no, when the next time they want to complain about FBA, you bring this up to them Africans. Bring this up because they're not doing a damn thing about it. They're not doing nothing about it in Africa. So anyway, I'm going to go ahead and conclude, and we will come back together at 1:45. Now, that one is also on Asians and the Black community, but it's a little different. It's going to be how we patronize their business, but Asians never patronize our business. And it's because they got an unwritten rule, just like white people. They got an unwritten rule that they don't shop with us. We shop with them, but they don't shop with us. So we will talk about that at 1:45. So I will see you then. Don't forget to pick up your hair products. I am a Black business owner, and my products are all made by me. They're not made in China. So y'all pick up your products and get your discounts. Shalom, family.